Hi there, I'm Rita from InspiRitha. Today we're going to talk about how to ask a girl out. Be sure to subscribe to InspiRitha for awesome videos about psychology, self-improvement and strategy. Approaching a woman to ask her out on a date is a nerve-wracking event even for the most steely-nerved among us. There's the potential for embarrassment and rejection, and that's enough to put most of us off the prospect altogether. However, as your dad was probably fond of saying, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and if you want to go on dates, you are going to have to run the gauntlet at some point. You can't guarantee success, of course, but there are certain strategies that you can employ to maximize your chances of getting a yes when you ask someone out on a date. Here are 8 steps to give you the best possible chance of landing a date with the girl of your dreams. Tip number 1. Do some basic due diligence to see if she's available. If the woman you're hoping to go on a date with isn't even single, you're going to be shot down pretty quickly, and that's a waste of time for everyone, although not bad practice. It's not always possible to find out ahead of time whether or not she's single, especially if she's a stranger in a bar, but if it's someone you know through friends, you can check ahead of time that, as far as they know, she's interested in dating. It's also important to bear in mind that not every woman is interested in dating men, period. Remember that it's possible that the girl of your dreams has a girl of her dreams, if you catch our drift. You don't especially need to modify your behavior in this case. There's no need to add weird, unless you're gay, disclaimers when you ask her out, but it's just something to keep in mind, and to be chill about if it turns out men aren't her thing. Tip number 2. Gauge her level of interest. It's possible to get some idea of how well things will go for you before you've so much as spoken a word to the girl you have your sights set on. It's best not to go in cold, so spend some time gauging her level of interest in you ahead of time by paying attention to her body language and nonverbal cues. Have you spoken to her before, and, if so, how well did the interaction go? What was your level of rapport like? Does she make sustained eye contact with you and touch you where possible? These are all indications that she's interested in you on some level, so try to pay attention to these details before you make your approach. Tip number 3. Make sure the scene is conducive to success. When you decide to approach the girl you picked, the setting needs to be conducive to success. It can be embarrassing, for example, to ask a woman out if her friends or family are around and within earshot, and likewise if she's busy doing daily activities like commuting or shopping for groceries. It's likely she won't want to be disturbed in this case, and you're more likely to get an annoyed "no thanks" when you ask in inconvenient settings. The ideal setting is going to depend somewhat on how well you already know this girl and where you tend to run into her most often, through a circle of friends versus occasionally bumping into her at your local bar, say, but try to be conscious of asking her out in an environment where romantic advances are likely to be welcome. Make her feel comfortable and be respectful, and she's much more likely to want to spend more time with you. Tip number 4. Be looking your best. This is a basic step, but one that men sometimes slip up on. You will drastically increase your odds of success if you have a fresh haircut and clipped fingernails, and if you're freshly showered and smelling good, and have a well-selected fragrance, perhaps. Consider your outfit, too. There's no need to be wearing a 3-piece suit, but make sure you are tidily dressed. How you look is not merely a superficial consideration. Looking your best gives an indication of your level of self-respect and attention to detail, and these are important cues that women will be picking up on. Again, you don't need to be dressed like the nines and looking like a male model at all times. The point is to be fresh, clean, and radiating self-respect. Tip number 5. Approach with as much confidence as you can muster. We know it's not always easy, but if you're approaching with fiddling hands and eyes darting nervously around the place, you're not going to have as much luck as if you stroll up confidently and with open body language and strong posture. If you struggle in this area, the fake it till you make it maxim applies. Asking someone out is usually at least a little bit awkward on both sides, so it doesn't need to be a perfectly seamless interaction, but try to have a level of good faith humor. If the conversation gets a bit bumpy, it's preferable to shutting down and stammering, for example. Basically, try to talk to women with the same ease with which you'd speak to your colleagues or friends, but with a more flirty tone. Tip number 6. Have a basic script ready. There's no need to have every single line you're going to say polished and rehearsed, of course, but it's a good idea to have a basic idea of what you'll talk about ahead of time. Make a mental note of how you're going to open, what you'll say in the interim, and how you are going to phrase asking her out. Be straightforward and polite, and make your intentions clear. There's no point darting around the fact that you're looking for a date. Use straightforward language like, "Would you like to have dinner with me this weekend?" Or, "Are you free for a drink after work this week?" rather than, "It'd be cool if we could hang out sometime." That way, there's less room for confusion. Tip number 7. Have a follow-up idea about your plan. Let's say she says yes when you ask her out on a date. Congratulations, that's the ideal result. However, you're going to need to think about what to say as a follow-up. You're going to look silly if she says, "What kind of date?" and you've given this no consideration. Dinner or drinks at a nice bar are a pretty safe fallback option, but avoid saying, "I don't know, what do you want to do?" It makes you look flaky and indecisive, and puts the work on her to think of an idea even though you're the one who has requested the date. Propose an activity and set a time, and then gracefully exit, and let the rest of your conversation take place on the date itself. Tip number 8. Be chill about rejection. Fingers crossed it doesn't get to this point, but the reality is, rejection is a normal and healthy part of asking women out on dates. If she's not into the idea of going out with you for whatever reason, you're going to have to take it on the chin. Don't pester her or ask why, like a 3-year-old who's been told he can't have a friend over or play with his toys. Flash her a smile, say something polite and low-key like "That's fine, have a great night," and walk away. Try not to take rejection too personally. It happens to everyone, and there's a good chance it's not about you. The more relaxed you are about dealing with it, the less it seems like a terrible, self-esteem crushing fate when it does occur. So, that's how you ask a woman out. None of these steps are rocket science, but they will help the interaction to go as smoothly as possible and maximize your chances of getting a yes. Remember, it's a numbers game, so don't give up after your first rejection. The girl of your dreams might be the second, third, or fourth one you ask. Bonus tip: try online dating. Not all dates stem from asking someone out in person, and while a lot of the above tips apply to online dating too, they don't get you much closer to asking someone out online. There are a lot of online dating sites out there you can find on the internet. Just Google something like "best online dating service," and look for one of the search results which fits you most. Here is the short summary of the previous 8 tips to refresh your memory. 1. Do some basic due diligence to see if she's available. 2. Gauge her level of interest. 3. Make sure the scene is conducive to success. 4. Be looking your best. 5. Approach with as much confidence as you can muster. 6. Have a basic script ready. 7. Have a follow-up idea about your plan. 8. Be chill about rejection. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe and smash the notification bell, because more incredible content is on the way.